Fireside Chat. Uh, it's absolutely great to have all of you here, and thanks for taking the time to join us today. I'm Prashant, co-founder and CTO of Unboxed. Unboxed is an AI-powered product discovery platform, and we basically power search, category pages, recommendations, and personalization for e-commerce websites. We help shoppers who come onto your website to find the right product at the right time. While you and me and almost everyone loves to buy from the convenience of an online store, there's a lot of technology constraints, jumble up pieces that an online store has to figure out so that the shopper can buy hassle-free and seamlessly. And to understand that, we're kickstarting the virtual fireside chat series where we'll be focusing on such business challenges and opportunities from the perspective of various online stores from different verticals. And today I'm excited to have Ramnik. Ramnik is a co-founder and head of products at Lenskart. Uh, and as a guest today, as for the Fireside Chat series, we're here to talk about the omni-channel strategy and how Lenskart is bridging the gap between offline and online retail. Welcome, Ramnik. Thanks for taking time to join us here today. Let's start with your introduction and tell us a little bit about Lenskart.
Yeah, hi Prashant. So thanks for the introduction. As Prashant mentioned, my name is Ramneek. I'm one of the co-founders and product head at Lenskart. So my team basically works on stitching the user experience for the consumer, whether they come online or whether they buy at our stores or get the home trial visits. So that is what I'm responsible for at Lenskart right now. Yes.
Thanks, Ramnik. And congratulations on the success of Lenskart. It's a pretty well-known brand in every household now. I mean, from millennials to boomers to Gen X, everyone is heading to a Lenskart store or website for either lens repair, finding new spectacle frames, and clearly Lenskart, I think, is winning hearts. So congrats on that. But Ramnik, I'm curious to know how are you juggling between the online and offline retail business?
See, Prashant, for us, we started as a pure play online player about 10 years back. And since then, for us, it has always been looking at consumer problems and working backwards from that. So, whenever at that time we did a survey or try to understand why a customer is not able to complete the purchase in the volumes that they should or like we hope them to do, there are two key points which continue to come back. One was that they needed to get their eye power checked, and second, some of the consumers really wanted to try the frame physically on their face before buying it. So to solve this problem, we initially began with a very basic thing where we use the Google Calendar APIs to set up the basic system for home trial program, where a customer got a home visit from one of our opticians to get their eye power checked up. And that program has now scaled up to a program where, like an Uber, you can easily see on the app if there is an optician nearby, get the eye checkup booked from them and get it checked. And we do more than 1,000 checkups a day easily from that particular program. And similarly for us, the store started off because of the second problem where some consumers wanted to try it on their face before buying. So we did some pop-up shops at hotspots in Delhi, from where we are as a company. We did pop-up shops in places like Select City Walk, etc., and we saw tremendous response. And that is how our journey as a store started. So for us, it has always been about solving consumer problems. So it has honestly never been like a juggling act. It has been more about understanding the consumer behavior and making it more easy and intuitive over time.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's true. I agree that the research and a part of purchase is, already done online, right? Before the shoppers even head to the Lenskart store. I mean, this I agree. This makes the entire online store shopping experience pretty important. Ramit, I want to jump straight to what's going on today and what everyone is facing. I mean, we are living in some extraordinary time, right? We are going through a pandemic. But because of this, we've also seen a massive shift in consumer and shopping behavior, right? Like I said, today, Unbox powers around 2 billion searches a month on all our customers, websites. And we see around 70 million different unique shoppers on our platform. Right? But what we've seen since March of this year, uh, globally, and this initially happened more in the US market, and now it's facing here in India and Southeast Asia as well. That since March of this year, we've seen a 50% increase in overall search traffic, and we also seen a massive, some customers have also seen a 4x jump in traffic and revenue. So I want to understand from from Lenskart perspective, how has this pandemic affected you, and has there been a business concern, right? Considering the lockdown for 2 months in India.
So you're right. Pandemic has impacted every aspect of it. You and I, instead of sitting in a seminar, are sitting with backdrops of our house doing this. Uh, but what I would say is that pandemic, instead of being a change agent, what it is really acting as is as an catalyst for taking us 10 years ahead on the trends which were already started, like the jump that you are seeing in online searches
Right.
and the behavior that we are seeing at our end. So specifically for us, what we are seeing is that people already used to research online. Quite a lot of people, especially in mature markets, used to research online before they stepped into the store and had a very good idea of what they want when they entered there. Now that behavior has become much more, where more and more people do a lot of research before entering the store, have a very good idea of what they are looking for, and they want their store visit. They try to minimize the store visit and try to buy online as much as possible. And for those who do want to visit the store, they try to keep it very, very quick and safe.
Yeah, I and Ramnik, I completely agree that this has definitely taken maybe 10 years ahead. While there's some severe challenges, I also see this could be an opportunity for a lot of businesses where they go overcome and they can see a lot of positive things moving forward. But help me understand, how are you using technology to overcome some of the challenges you're seeing today with pandemic?
Yeah, so on the technology side, see, whatever we do at Lenskart, right? Technology is the first thing that is the tool that we use to solve it. That is the first thing that comes to our mind, being a technology company. So to give you a few examples of things which we have done over this period to help make it more easier for consumers to buy at these times, is that now a customer is able to go online and check out the inventory of their nearby store, say be it MG Road or any other place. They can just go online and see what inventory is available in the store so that they have a good idea. They can also virtually try on those glasses, and in fact now if you go to our iOS app, you just open up the camera and glasses pop onto your face.
Hi.
uh, and the other thing that they can do is they schedule an appointment before going so that they don't have to worry about queues when they enter the store. And lastly, once they've selected the product by doing a seamless search on our application at the store, then they can easily pay on their phone itself at the time of checkout, so that it is completely contactless, which is also a big trend that we are seeing right now.
Yeah, I mean, I can't agree more. I mean, I've heard this sentiment from of this low touch buying behavior from many of the customers globally, and truly in terms of how Lenskart is building this completely seamless low touch buying, not just online but offline. I mean, really helps the shopper. So completely agree. And also, I see that a lot of online retailers. I mean, working again with a lot of them, I've seen that everyone is trying to figure out how we can bring a zero hassle, right, when it comes to selecting and buying a product. Getting to the next question, Ramik. So that you're maintaining both online, offline retail channel. What's your biggest challenge that you see? Maintaining the presence in both of them.
So, being omni-channel, the biggest challenge that we have is to ensure that we give a seamless experience to the customer, whether they are buying their products online or whether they decide to, then go to a store to try them, or to get a optometrist to visit their house to get their eyes checked up. So the biggest, I mean, the most amount of work that we do at our end is to make sure that whether they are online or on physical retail or at their home, the transition is seamless for them. So what that requires is, the number one thing which is required is that the merchandise that is available for them to buy has to be seamless between online or at store or at home. Second thing, at all of these places, our supply chain, which really powers all of this business behind, has to be really, really robust, so that you get the product at the right time, despite wherever you decide to buy it. And last and most important is, even in the post sales experience, when you try to address an issue and you might
Right.
decide to go online to address that issue, be it of returns if unfortunately you are not liking the product or it's not fitting you well, or you try to raise any other query with us. Whether you decide to walk into a store with that query, raise it on social media or any other channel that we have, the experience has to be one. So most of our time goes in that.
I mean, that's right. Uh, I would also watch for the same. And I think, in fact, that's the key, I think, right? If you're keeping all of your channels of communication open between the shopper and a brand, it better be similar and uniform experience across all the channels, be it online, offline, or any other mode that you follow. So, getting to the next question, what's the key mantra behind managing these problems that you just described, right?
So for us, it is addressing all those pain points that a customer might feel when they are going through this journey, which is that we absolutely stand behind this and we ensure that whether you search for a product online or at store or anywhere else, you will get the same selection and at the same price, regardless of where you're buying it from. We ensure that when you, as an example, walk into a store, the store person knows after meeting you that what are the products that you're looking for. They have the app to power them and let them know that this person is interested in these kind of eyeglasses, so that your journey is quick and error free. And more importantly, in after your purchase, we completely stand behind it, and in case you face any issue, we are able to address it immediately via any of these channels.
Got it. Got it. Makes sense. And how is technology enabling your journey and strategy towards bridging the gap between the two channels? Could you also help us walk through what a typical user journey looks like for Lenskart?
Sure. So yeah, sure. I'll walk you through one of the user journeys, and this is one of the many. So typically, person discovers us from one of the channels. It might be a TV commercial, or it might be Instagram ad that they are seeing. Uh, Post that, if they're curious enough, they will go to our website or download our app to find out the products that they like. If the products are compelling enough where they like the frames, then they might decide to shortlist few and purchase it then and there. But in case they need a eye checkup, then they easily find the direction of nearby store or call the optometrist at their home. And post finding their eye power from our optometrist, they are then able to place order at the store or at their home. So this is typically how a journey of a user looks like. And it might vary a little bit here and there, but this is typically the path that a customer follows with us.
Got it. So what I understand is that you're trying to make product discovery and product selection super simple for your shoppers, irrespective of the channels your shoppers choose to come and buy from, right? Um, and we can clearly see that technology enables you to give this amazing customer experience across the entire journey on Lenskart. Well, we power more than 1,300 websites across 40 countries for who we use our AI-powered search and product discovery solution to enhance the overall online shopping experience as well as increase the conversion. And it's not at all easy to do that. We see that the use case vary from vertical to vertical, from how shoppers buy or an online grocery store to an shopper on an online fashion show, right? There are millions of use cases a search solution has to cater to meet the ever-changing shopping styles and behaviors of the shopper. So let me ask you, what aspects of online product discovery do you find very challenging?
In our case, since we are a niche player, we get the opportunity to have more glasses than any other eyewear player in the country or any other eyewear shop. So typically, we have about at least 20 to 100 times the collection of a regular shop. But that presents a unique challenge in itself, because the person has to then go through the catalog and find out the glasses which are absolutely right for them. And this is where Unboxed helps us, because it helps us cut through the different attributes of eyeglass shape, color, material, etc., and get to the pair which is right for them. And in turn, what it does is, since we use Unbox for search, it allows us to focus our internal technology team efforts to other products that we want to build, which are more unique to our business, like the tool where you can take a selfie on the app and
Right.
instantly get to know what eyeglasses fit you, or the tool which allows you to open the camera and start trying glasses using AR on your face. So that is where we are at. in terms of technology
Right.
for discovery of products.
Right. Now, well, I'm glad that Unbox in some ways enabling the product discovery or various user journey for Lenskart. Uh, and we have we have seen how at Lenskart, especially that how you've stitched both online and offline, and you also bought search in the store. Really helps for the end users to actually have a very nice shopping experience. So I want to get to the next question. What are the challenges or business opportunities you see in the times to come, considering your massive offline and online presence?
So as business scales, I think there are two things which are counter in nature and that will continue to scale along with that. A, as we get to learn customers more and more, as we get to serve more and more customers across different geographies, what we see is that the merchandise will continue to go up because we'll continue to make frames for your different use cases. You might need a frame for while you're playing tennis, or you might need a different frame when you're going to a party, etc. So that merchandise will continue to expand. At the same time, the time that a user will spend to get to the right glasses will continue to go down because the number of you know uh, apps calling for our attention are continuing to grow, be it Netflix or whoever, right?
Yeah.
So on one side, the merchandising will continue to go up. On other side, the time available or time the customer is willing to invest in getting the right glasses will continue to go down. So the way we see it going forward, personalization is the main opportunity area for us or any business, honestly, of this size, which allows them to get customer to the right glasses as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, as a matter of fact, there are more shoppers headed the e-commerce way, and more online. In fact, offline stores are also working towards building a seamless shopping experience for shoppers in times to come. And I think, Ramnik, as you said, we possibly have leapfrogged 10 years from where we are, right? Unfortunately, because of the pandemic. Um, so at Unbox, I also say the audience at Unbox working with many online retailers like Lenskart. We have observed that the best shopping experience are given by those who have solved for these four things. And this, we have seen with some of the best retailers, who run massive thousands of offline stores and large online revenue as well. First, they make it really easy for shoppers to find what they're looking for, uh, and what products they're most likely to buy using contextual relevance and a lot of AI technology. You can get shoppers on their website, but if they search for something and they don't find, they're likely going to exit and never come back, right? And it more likely happens for shoppers, specifically with search because the intent of buying is 4 times higher. Second is, get the relevant products to rank higher in the pecking order in your product listing pages. It could be your landing page, category page, search results page, but it's important to rank products so that users can find exactly what they're looking for as quickly as possible. And third goes with the second point is ensure that the path to purchase is very short, right? Across all your purchase journey. And I see at Lenskart, Rami, how you've done this really well, right? Not just in online store, but also in offline store. And lastly, I think you talked about give a personalized experience to each individual shopper. Right? More and more shoppers are visiting, your site on a mobile device now, which makes it harder to showcase a wide range of products because of the size of the device and the large catalog that you have. How do you showcase the wide range of products to shoppers? So with personalization, you can feature possibly the most relevant product for that shopper based on all their past experience. So so we've seen some of these things specifically on online websites. The shoppers have done well. I mean, these websites have done well to give this amazing seamless experience for the shopper. Well, with this, I would like to conclude, our one-to-one chat, my one-to-one chat with Ramli. Ramli, it was a delight to have you here and share your experience on bridging the gap between online and offline retail. Thanks, everyone. Ramli, we have quite a few questions that has come your way. I think some of them are very specific in on to how Lenskart is handling things. We can start with some of those.
Yeah. So, firstly, Prashant, thanks for taking your time and thanks for having me here. I'll just jump on to a few questions which are there. So, one of the person wants to know what percentage of consumers buy digitally versus on all the channels. So, at our end, already before the pandemic hit, 70% plus people who used to enter the store had already researched online. That number has only gone up after the pandemic. Then
And
the
Ravi, I just want to, push further on that question. What's your forecast going forward? I mean, you've already seen initial trends. Obviously, things are going to open up in India and rest of the world. But what do you forecast going forward?
for Lenskart
So
in
let's
particular.
start. Yes.
So over year, we should see a jump of 20% in our revenues, which is lower than what we typically do year over year in the past few years. But we will still see a growth of 20% this year, is what we are projecting.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also in terms of between users coming online and offline, what percentage of users do you see going forward who ideally would have visited store offline are gonna move online?
So before the pandemic, about 20 to 25% of our business was online only. Now it is almost split between online and
Okay.
offline.
Okay. Okay. Makes sense.
Uh, then there's a question about merchandising, that how do you maintain the stock on each stores. So what we do over here is that since store has much less self shelf space available, what we do is two things. One, we have a representative product for different cohorts, like a black round or a black rectangle or a rimless. We have a lot of representative products in the store which are similar to what you have been browsing or what you want to buy. But on top of it, what we do is that you can place an order of any of the products on the site when you visit a store. So you can try a similar frame and place an order for any of the product which is there in the website. So that is how we manage it.
Okay.
Our end. Uh, there's a question about how do you track all the data points between online and offline conversions, etc. Uh, f- for us, the consumer phone number is the key for the consumer. So when you get to our app, you enter your phone number, and 90% plus people who are browsing our app have given up their phone number to us, and that allows us to serve them much better, because in the middle of buying journey, if the conversation drop, we are able to pick up that discussion over WhatsApp, which they are always connected on. And when and if they decide to buy online, or if they decide to buy at a store, at that time also we take their phone number, so we are able to map the complete journey of the consumer that way.
Let me get a few questions on the chat box. I can read out to you. What strategy did you adopt to differentiate yourself from other competitors?
See, this from the starting, it was very simple that you provide the best customer experience, and we differentiated basis of customer experience. Because if you look at it traditionally, mom and pop eyewear stores have not taken a return at all. Whereas after making a eyeglass for you, we are able to take a return within 14 days, no question asked. So experience is what we have been able to differentiate ourselves onto, be it our return policy, be it our consistency in delivery, or be it our availability, omnipresence across all the stores, online, and all the channels. So that is what has been there. Post pandemic, there are some of the factors are same, which always remain the same, which is of merchandising and the pricing. But there are new factors coming in, wherein people are looking for brands they can trust with hygiene, with a supply chain which is hygienic in nature, from the way we make our glasses to how we sanitize them before we ship them out, or how we run our stores where we follow social distancing norms, and when the customer comes in, we give them masks, etc. So some of these factors are new, others remain the same.
I mean, there's an interesting question in the chat box. The question is, do you think all digital brands should have an offline store?
See, so that depends on the product category, I would say. If you are into selling something which is readily available, and there is not a differentiation where a customer needs to touch and feel and see how it is, then it might not be important. In fact, that is the reason why Amazon also started with books, because there was practically no differentiation in the books, and you didn't need to see it before you buy. But if you are in a product category where you are specifically launching your own brands and your own products, then it makes sense for users to try it out before they purchase it. And it does help the brand in getting that traction.
Okay. I think we have a few more questions on, does Lenskart have delivery of the products the user wants to buy? Home
Sorry.
delivery. I mean, there are a few more questions, Ramik. Does Lenskart do? I'm sorry. I mean, does Lenskart do home delivery for the products the user wants to buy?
Yeah, absolutely. So
Yes.
whether you buy online or whether you even go to the store and then you want the glasses to be delivered at your home, we allow all of that. That is part of our promise of consistency of supply chain, regardless of where you're buying from.
So I think there's a very interesting question. I think a pretty important one. What is your take on fulfillment of orders from your nearest store to reduce cost or time? And is it going to be the future of omnichannel? And this is something, I think is happening globally, right? How do you become truly omnichannel and you can connect not just shopping experience, but also your whole logistics and delivery between offline and online? So what's your take on that?
So, in our case, it is relevant to a small product category, which is of contact lens, because that is something that we store on all across our stores. And if you buy online, we can deliver it from your nearby store rather than delivering from a central plant. Whereas for eyeglasses, we do maintain that the glasses are shipped from our central plant because it is a medical product, and we want to ensure that it is centrally controlled and there is highest level of quality available via that. For simple pick and pack products like contact lens, it is more interesting to implement that.
Got it. Sounds good. Um, All right, just seeing if you have a few more questions. Maybe there's one last question we can take up today. Uh, so, I mean, I think there's one part of the question, Ramnik, you could answer. I mean, I think this question is more on the advertising, like, how do you go about it? What's the spend budget? But I think one thing as part of the question is, do you use AI in, advertising as well? That would be good to hear from your product perspective, not just in advertising, but how is AI, how are you using AI, in your company?
So, top of the funnel, when we are getting consumers, at that time, I would say AI is more important for retargeting than it is for getting first people to know the brand. First, they get to know the brand, and then they visit the site or the app and they browse certain products, and that is where the AI kicks in to get them back to purchase it again, basis of their buying behavior or rather browsing behavior. So it is more relevant to retargeting for us at this point than to the first touch point.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I think we have a few more questions on the marketing and advertising in terms of what the budget should be, and what the acquisition cost should be for any digital brand. Um,
Right. There's a question about the technology that goes to building the seamless experience in omni-channel, and whether the ERP should be custom or a off-the-shelf product. So over here, I think a lot of ERPs are doing a lot of work in building omni-channel experiences, but I would say that there is a long way to go for them also, and for us it has become a very natural progression because that is how we started. It was, I mean, there was no word omni channel, or it wasn't a buzzword when we started off. So for us it was about understanding consumer behavior and building backwards. So that is how our systems evolved over time. So we have definitely gone the custom route, whereas a lot of off-the-shelf solutions which are available in the market are now trying to mimic that and build solutions for the masses.
Right. Got it. Makes sense. So let me add another question on that. What is the roadmap that you see going forward, right? Where you could really personalize the experience, not just in store but also offline, and like, marry the both together. But both in terms of personalization perspective.
Yeah. So, in terms of personalization perspective, the roadmap that we see is that when the user enters the app itself, right, they are giving a lot of signals even though they are entering from the first time. Which channel did they came for? What ad did they saw before coming in? What was the price point of the ad that they saw, etc. So those are some initial signals that we get. Then going forward, their clickstream data on what are they browsing, which products are they liking, which ones are they shortlisting. That gives us the second strong indication. And the third and fourth level indication comes from what all touch points do they visit? Do they visit a store after that? And then how do you map the two, their online browsing history versus what they have browsed in the store? And then finally, the final sale that happens. So What we are doing at our end is collecting all those channels and all those signals and then putting machine learning algorithm on top of it to figure out the right weightage for it for different cohorts. And that is how we see it getting developed going forward.
Okay, got it. Okay, I think it's pretty much. I think we've tried to cover majority of the questions asked by the audience. Uh, uh, Thanks everyone. That's all for today. We'll bring more of these chat series going forward. And thanks, Ramnik. I think this was really good. I think there's a lot of insight that came from you. I'm sure it's gonna help a lot of our audience also to think about it. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Thanks, Farhan.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Thanks everyone for
Thanks
joining.
everyone for joining in today. There were some really lovely questions, and thanks for the participation. Thank you.
Thank you.